and welcome back to part 2 of this micro camper conversion. In this episode we're going to be looking at doing the plywood panels basically to the sides, to the windows, to the floor. We're going to make some out of quarter ply and then we're going to transfer them onto the actual piece that's going to be in. But today I've got two very special helpers that are going to be helping me out with this conversion today. We have got Chloe and we have got Millie, my two youngest daughters. So this should be a fun episode. Okay, so since the last episode, I've done a few things. You noticed the difference in colour here. We've obviously got the paint and we've got the primer there. There was what I can only imagine was a sound deadening type of sheet that was down. And it made the floor quite proud, which means it wouldn't have ran straight, it wouldn't have set straight. Also, there was a lot of it that was loose, so I've taken all that up, basically. I needed the floor to be flat both ways, so I didn't have anything bowing on the floor. Obviously, you get a good base, you're going to get the rest of the conversion straight. So I've taken that up. It wouldn't have been right anyway. I needed it to be right for the Sikaflex to go down. With it being loose, I couldn't have trusted it to stay down properly. As well, it has shown me that there are a couple of screw holes which I'm going to fill in, which I might not have seen if I hadn't taken it up. So I'm glad I did, really. The only other things that we had a couple of threads that were sticking out that I've ground off. So that's nice and flat now. So what we're going to be doing, I'm going to make a pattern for floor. Which I will transfer onto the 12mm ply that I'm going to be putting down. It looks like once I've made one side, it'll transfer over. Even though these wheel arches are different, you notice that one is taller than this one. It's got a slightly different angle. We can see that there. I'm going to be making some plywood patterns for here because that helps me make that surround neater for when we cut the windows out. I'm going to be covering the windows on the next episode, so we'll look at fitting them on the next one. So I'm going to make a panel here. Also on the back doors, the bottom part was a plastic one which I'm going to be covering in the carpet, but I've got some repair work to do here, so I'm going to do that before I make the panel for the back doors. So I'll set the camera up and we'll make a start on scribing in. Okay, so we've got our first pattern made. What you've got to be careful of with this is that you don't get too close to the metalwork. I mean, that as it looks now, let's get a quick look along. You see there's a slight gap all the way down. Now you need that. If you get too close, if it's not bonded down properly or it's a high walkway, if it was, you know, somewhere you was walking up and down and it didn't get bonded down properly, you get that squeak, especially if it was touching the actual metalwork. So I always try and keep it slightly further away because there's going to be carpet on there and then there's lino coming up to that as well. So that gap will be filled in, that's not the issue, but you want to make sure that you're not going to cause yourselves any problems later on when you're driving, you hear the squeaking, or you're walking on it, you hear the squeaking. Made a slight change from the last time. What I've done, the last one I ran on the actual rubber and I've set this back this time, so that upstand, I'll show you that later on, but the upstand isn't actually going to sit on the rubber this time. It's going to be slightly inset, so for whatever reason, if that rubber has to be changed due to wear and tear or whatever, it can be done. So it's just a kind of a future proof type of a thing, that one. I've flipped it over so that fits nicely on that side. So now that we've got that done, I can transfer that pattern onto the 12mm board, and now I'm going to make a start on the sides and on the windows. Right, okay, so I've got, as you can see, the majority of the panels made. The patterns that I made have now obviously been transferred onto solid panels. This floor was probably the easiest one to do because obviously I knew my overall length and the width. This has been cut down to about 44 inches, I think it is. So it lands on half of one of the raised ribs there, so you don't get any flex when you put your two pieces together. So because I knew my overall length of this and the width, I only had one side to shape in basically, so I could measure that. But these were just a different story altogether. So you saw from the time-lapse videos, I shaped every side, bottom, over the wheel arches. Even this was in pieces, and I did the same with that one as well. It just makes the whole process a lot easier. Doing it in pieces, joining them all together, and then transferring that onto one panel. So that's where we're up to at the minute. I'm going to take all these out now. That is actually going to be one of the last things to go down. I'm going to put the windows and the carpet lining on first, and then that goes down afterwards, just so it traps everything down nice and neat, and the edges, around the edges are nice and neat with the carpet and the lino and everything else. I'm going to take these out. I'm going to run some wiring in. I'm going to have to toy with the idea of moving the actual control panel, because I normally put it up here in the locker, but I'm going to move it. I think I'm going to put it at the front of this kitchen unit, because with this being an elevating roof, I'm not going to be able to get the electrics to rise and fall with that, so I think they're going to have to be mounted at the front of the kitchen on this one. So the wiring's going to be slightly different on this one, and I think we're going to run some insulation in as well. So I'll set the camera up and we'll do another time lapse. Right, okay, so I think we've got the majority of this this wiring in now. There's not a great deal, because obviously it is a micro camper, so there's not meters and meters and meters of wiring to go in, but we have got in what we need. There's a loom coming through there that's going to be going to that control panel I was telling you about when I'm moving to the front of the kitchen. There is some more wiring to go in there, yeah. Obviously we've got the pump, we're going to have another 12-volt socket to go in, but that can be wired up internally in the kitchen, so I don't need to run any more wires around that way. I've got some light feeds coming through here. They're not being fitted there. There's another one here as well. But I need to get some lights in the roof, and we've got a couple of spotlights that I'm going to be putting on this side as well, directional should I say. But what I'm going to do first, I'm going to cut this roof out and have a look at this strengthening frame being made first before I run the wires in. So I've given myself quite a bit of excess wire there to run through and see what the best route is to take to that. Obviously, you know, being on the safest side possible with them. I've got some more wiring down at the bottom. It does look a bit of a mess, but it will all come a lot more clearer as the conversion goes along. So I've got some 240 wire, the hook up 240 wires there as well, some 12 volt stuff. I've got the charger unit, 240 consumer unit going down there, the leisure battery and the 12 volt fuses will be down there. So there's a lot of electrics down in that bottom corner. Another bit of wiring there, that's for the fridge. So I think I've got the bulk of it in. The other ones I've not got in are the wiring that are going to the actual controllers. They're going to be operating the motors that's going to be lifting the roof up, the electric roof up. I'm not 100% certain as to where I'm going to be placing them yet, so I'm going to spend a bit of time thinking about that and which is the best route for that one. So that's the only wiring that I've not got in at the moment. The next video that's going to be coming along is it's going to be the front 2 sliding door windows. A bit of a milestone for the channel. It's going to be my first sponsored video from Van Glass. I'll go into a bit more detail with them on the next video, but I'm really happy about that. So we're going to be doing a video on fitting the bonded glass windows. But if you've got any questions about this video or anything else that you've seen, pop them down in the comment section below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. But many thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you very much. Bye bye.